What is up, Team JVS? We are here with another review. We are here with Superman and Lois, episode 6 of season 4. And again, I have mentioned this again and again, but we have started off this season. We are halfway through the season, so I can't even say that anymore, but it's been phenomenal. We haven't had a bad episode yet. And the fact is, we have like 4 episodes left, and it's killing me to say that. Because with the way that they are finishing off, it's just like the idea that they don't want to take advantage and make this last longer just it hurts. But at the end of the day, to have a Superman series that hasn't had a bad season is just it's just cool. It's cool, you know. I'm happy. But with this episode, stuff went down, so we know that we're kind of like trading off with recurring characters. For starters, we actually got Sarah and Alana in this episode, and they were of great importance. They weren't just for like relief or to take a step back from what's really going on, but they were vital to what's going on and to what the story's going to mean later on. And this could be the last time we see Sarah. So as we know, Sarah, of course, is taking that step to go abroad, and we kind of see that kind of build up in this episode, which I thought they handled pretty good. And for a show that can't really do a lot with a lot of these side characters because of just how limited they are compared to what they were able to do in the last few seasons, I think they're doing a really, really good job. Whether it's with getting the marriage set up in one of the episodes, and then handling John Henry Irons in another episode, saying goodbye to Sam Lane, and now we have Sarah and Lana over here, where Lana is still the mayor, so she is doing a lot, and she is heavily involved with what is going on with Luther. So of course that does end up affecting her in a sense, but of course we have Sarah, who is still kind of trying to find out who she is, and we've seen that in the last few seasons, but it's a lot now. I mean, we see her actually trying to talk to Jordan and saying to Jordan, "Hey, you have this freedom that most people would kill to have." And she's in a position where she just wants to like pack her stuff and go somewhere else to get a new life experience. And she's like, "I can't do that." And then Jordan reminds her, "Yes, you can." So here we are with her kind of signing up with the the abroad program, study abroad, whatever it is. And it's just really cool to see kind of a nice send off for her. It's like I'm so used to watching shows where when we say goodbye to a character, they do it in such a brutal manner. So to know that she's actually going off for a better future is just it's cool to see, and especially the way they handled it with both Jonathan and Jordan kind of flying her off, and for them to have that like day to visit, whether it was Greece or where else did she want to go? Chile. So I don't know. Either way, I think it's really cool to kind of see other characters kind of get their nice little conclusion for them to wrap things up as well. It's been fun, but again, we're coming to the end, so it's just been really, really crazy to see. We're kind of seeing just Luther a little more unhinged. We start off the episode with him literally having his own little rage room in his own house, and after the last episode with his daughter basically saying like, "Yo, I just can't have you. Like this hatred is not going to be around my kid," which is 100% justified. But he's over here just on a rampage, and it ends up leading that frustration, the craziness. It just leads to some craziness, and I think we got a really really good performance from Michael Cudlitz in this episode, whether it was just from him communicating with Clark, or whether it was with with Lana, excuse me, or even with the new characters that we're being introduced to, uh, like Hada, right? Ada, I think they said. The whole thing there just really kind of highlights how strong the Smallville community is. Because to see her kind of like turn down so much money in order to keep her community safe is just such a great thing to do. It feels like it's just so awesome to see like a community where Superman grew up. You look at Clark Kent, and he's the ideal person. A majority of the times just making great decisions. He's just a good person, and it's like you would think that the people around him would mold him. So to see these great people just that were in Smallville, and it kind of just shows why these people kind of grew up to be better people. And speaking of the great people, we start off with a sequence with Clark talking about how, well, Lois saying to Clark, "You have some salt and pepper in your hair," which is of course her saying that he's getting a little gray, which is interesting for Clark because that Kryptonian blood doesn't age as much as or as fast as other humans do. But of course, with this heart being in effect or in play, it's obviously doing things to him. So for him to go up to the store and to buy hair dye, and for us to see the interaction between that girl that knows who he is and of course Clark, it was interesting. But I'm just trying to like one thing that's really throwing me off is we saw a few people that were there the night that Doomsday dropped Clark's body, and I know they showed a few people, but I can't remember how many people they showed. So it just seems that they're kind of bringing in more and more people that know his secret, which isn't a problem to me personally. I think it's cool when a few people do know his little secret that he has, but at the end of the day, it's like we have the coach that came out of the cut, and then we have Hater that all of a sudden was like, yeah, if you think he's a bad guy, then I'm taking your word for it. It's like, why would you do that? Come on, with what you've done for this city, it's like, oh no, like it's just really interesting. But I do love it, and as we saw with the cash register, she was trying her best to be very subtle about it, but she was not good at it at all. And of course, Superman being able to hear her heart beating and everything, it was just really cool because these people are just good people. They respect him, and it's just like they wouldn't probably give away his secret unless they were like being tortured. Maybe I don't know, but it's just again, I really love the Smallville community that they're building up, and I feel like we're seeing a lot of it in this season. Even though it's a shorter season, they're doing a really good job with it, and that's one thing that I again I'm having fun with. But of course, it leading up to Lex, having his frustrations about not being able to, get the land and the zoning issues, and then him going up to Lana and quite literally saying, hey, I've known people with that security system, and it didn't stop what ended up happening to them. So be safe, basically, is what he was saying. And just to see how subtle he is with his threats, it's crazy, man. And it's like, it ended up leading to Lana basically almost losing her life, and with the way the things are going, with the how short the season is, and they're wrapping everything up. I mean, I'm not. No one's safe. I was worried, and it ended up coming back to Otis, who we've seen in prior episodes, coming back and trying to kill her. So they're making use of some characters that we've seen before, and we're seeing everything kind of like plan out with a bunch of different stuff. And I think it's gonna end up doing the same thing. I believe her name was Gretchen, the one that was playing with Sam Lane. I know we'll see her again, so I'm really curious to see how that all comes together. But again, him throwing a fit over that, and then of course Clark and Jordan and John all crapping on themselves and being all upset that they weren't able to hear, or they weren't paying attention. Specifically, Jordan, who is putting all the superhero stuff behind, so he's literally not even listening out at all. And it was interesting to see them all kind of find a way to blame themselves. But of course, Sarah came in clutch with the bat, man. You gotta applaud her for that. I do like I've really enjoyed Sarah this season. I feel like they've just, I don't know if it's because she's in the show less. I would hate for that to be the reason. I just feel like writing wise, they've just made her really a lot more likable, in my opinion. So I've enjoyed her a little more, and that's important to me considering how I felt about her characters in the previous seasons, and now where we are right now. Of course, after the whole Lex trying to kill Lana thing, it ends up leading to Clark just leaving and then going to Luther and then letting out the Luther, like it's so cool to see Clark in that state of mind where he's just furious, because we don't see it like that often. So when he is like that, it's just an unpredictable scene. Like, what is he gonna do? Is his eyes gonna turn red? Is he gonna end up breaking? What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? And then we got one of my favorite moments of the show. I think it's top 10 definitely, where Lex ends up changing the light to regular lighting to the red solar, whatever it is, and that's when Superman, of course, loses his abilities, and then we end up seeing an actual brawl between Lex and Superman. And it's like to see the way it was handled, because one, the soundtrack phenomenal, but that's not even it. The choreography is just, it was fantastic because they were just straight up fighting like men, dude. Like, they were going crazy, and it wasn't one sided. And that was the one thing that concerned me. I'm like, as soon as Clark loses his abilities, will Lex totally whip his ass? And it's not just any version of Lex. Like, look at this version of Lex compared to some of the other Lexes that we've had. This is a scary Lex due to just his size alone. So to see him kind of one on one, him versus Clark, and to see them actually exchanging blows and seeing their faces open up, like, they were cooking with that scene. And I applaud whether it was the directing and that sequence specifically, just the lighting, the rain, the music, everything in that one sequence was just insane to watch, and it was so impressive. It just got me so amped up considering, like, again, like, we don't get to see Clark, I feel like, maneuvering the way he was. Like, he was fighting for real because of the lack of abilities. Like it's one thing with Clark, like he'll throw one, two, or three punches, and the person's done, or he'll end up fighting something that's 10 times bigger than him. So it's a little difficult for him to maneuver like with an actual person. It's just interesting always to see like a normal exchange of blows, and that's kind of what we got with the Lex and Clark fight. And Clark literally was being brutal with it, threw his head through a window. It got crazy, and I applaud everyone involved with that fight sequence. But definitely one of my favorite moments. I know it's gonna get crazier. I mean, I know the next episode's probably gonna be even crazier, but I feel like what we did with this episode, on top of the cool scenes that we got, it's kind of building up to something even crazier, and I'm excited for that. Of course we had the normal situation with Jonathan having to have him step back due to him constantly being involved with saves and just maybe not taking as many breaks as he needs to. And it's one thing to be like, okay, you're going to make yourself tired, but then from Clark's point of view, you're bound to make mistakes when you're this tired. So you got to look at it from that point of view. I feel like it comes off a little better. But at the end of the day, I'm really excited with what they gave us in this episode, and I'm truly looking forward to the next few episodes. We only have 7, 8, 9, and 10, man. It's crazy to think about, but we are close to the end of Superman and Lois, and I am so glad that you guys have been here for the journey and been able to watch this with me. And of course, if you guys want to see the live reactions of me watching the show, you can go down to my channel down in the description. You'll see Busy Braun. Go check that out. And yeah, again, if you guys want to see more reviews, subscribe over here. We're covering a lot of stuff. We got Arcane coming out. We just reviewed the finale for Daryl Dixon, and we got a lot of other stuff such as Cobra Kai next week, and even Cross coming out, and we're gonna try to get to that if we can. But there's a lot coming out, so be ready, stay tuned, and again, big thank you to all of you guys. You guys are great. Peace out.